First things first, you're wanting to make sure this guy is real nice and clean. As you can see, it's got tons of wear from the release bearing sliding on it. You just use a little piece of Scotch-Brite and go around, make sure that there's no chunks of aluminum sticking up, because if there is, you got to get those down. You might even need to use a file to get them down. You want to make sure that this sleeve is real clean for the new sleeve to go on. Same thing with the little ball. You make sure it's clean. You don't really need to use Scotch-Brite on it, but you might if you're trying to get some of that grease, old grease off. But yeah, just work your way around it, make sure it's nice and clean. After that, you'll want to use some brake cleaner and a paper towel and clean it real good. Just make sure no grease or gunk on it. When you're cleaning this off, when I'm done with this piece of the housing, what I like to do, oh man, you can see major pitting in there. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but if it'll focus, you see a big old piece of pitting right there, and that's not good. That's why we're getting this sleeve installed from Underdog Racing Development. But I like to go through on the splines of the shaft, kind of clean them out too, because that's where you're going to put some grease in. So this is what it comes with: your release bearing, sleeve, which I've kind of wiped some of the grease off of it if there was any on there, and you can kind of see a chunk right there. And you're going to take these, I put a little bit of blue or medium strength Loctite on there, and your little set screws. Just enough to get in the threads. I kind of set this up before I go to the transmission. If it's not all seized up in there, I might have to get another bottle. This is something you don't want to loosen up, so you want to make sure, well, I don't know if it needs that much, but just kind of wipe it off my fingers and stick it in there. They gave me an extra set screw, it looks like. And you're going to use the supplied wrench, and we're going to go stick it on the transmission. Take your rag in case you got any Loctite on here. You want to wipe that all off. We'll go over there. And now, just me, but this is the way that I like to set it up. It's kind of square with the transmission is just line this up with it, just kind of to where it's going to be level, and just it's just eyeballing it. It don't have to be perfect. And then this guy's also going to hit in there, of course. You want to make sure it's pushed all the way back too when you install it. You want to go just tight enough, but not too tight. As you go too tight, you'll crack the housing, this piece. no bueno. If you go too loose, it'll back out. Which it shouldn't with that much Loctite, but one never knows. Kind of awkward silence as I fumble around with this. I try not to block all the light so you can't see what I'm doing. Get them all kind of snug and then work my way around and get them a little bit snugger. And kind of see the sleeve on there too. Yeah, just work your way around then, and don't have to be a super strong man to tighten these down, just snug. Like I said, you don't want to break anything or strip them out. And let the Loctite do most of the work. Past once it's snug. And there you have it, folks. Your sleeve repair kit is almost done for your release bearing. Now it's just to put the release bearing on. Once that's in place, this will be ready to go onto the vehicle. All right, here's your new release bearing. Even says the URD and the part number on there. So that way if you need a new one, you can order just the release bearing instead of the whole fix-it kit. Take the supplied grease, and then these grooves that are on the bearing that are down in here. See right there? There's two of them. You're going to squeeze some of this in there. Then just take your finger. No gloves required unless you like to be clean. And I just kind of do this. All up and on there. And as you push this on, it'll squeeze it down into the grooves a little bit deeper as well. Now we take everything over to the transmission. Adjust you guys a little bit so you can kind of see what you're doing, or what we're doing rather. And then clutch shift fork, I just kind of squeeze some down into there. Once again, take your finger and poke it. Just give that ball something to have, and then I'd put a little bit into this side too for the slave cylinder. Then I also set that up out of the way where it won't slide off. I also go ahead and slip a little bit on the old sleeve kit or sleeve fix, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, and then after that's all been greased, come over to the pivot ball for the clutch fork. I'm going to put a bunch on it up on there. I'll probably put more down in on the this guy as well, just a little bit. Try and get, oh, I don't know, that's pretty good. and just work a little bit. But down in the shift fork groove for the pivot ball, because you don't want that thing getting premature wear, and then got to get a new. Let's take this rubber boot off. Got to get a new shift fork. That wouldn't be good. Let's see if we can't squeeze anymore. Out of here. And we can. And there you go. Toss that off to the side. Clean your finger off so we can put this boot on here. Slip the release bearing onto the shift fork, like so. It slides on real nice and easy like. Slide it onto the shaft. Up here, where it goes onto the pivot ball, I just push real hard, and it's on there. And then I take this excess grease, that's why we clean this up. And I just wipe it up on the splines. Sorry, my boots are a bit creaky. And there you go. That is one completed URD release bearing repair kit with sleeve.